Hello my friends and fellow VEDSies. Here in the US, it is Labor Day today. Now, this holiday was originally created to celebrate the achievements of workers and remind us of the necessity to fight for fair treatment from employers. But it has since more or less become a way to celebrate the end of summer. But given that this is supposed to be a day about workers' rights, I decided I would use the holiday to talk about everything that is currently going on in the entertainment industry. As far as the unions and strikes are concerned, there is too much to get into everything at once. In early May, the Writers Guild of America, or the WGA, which is the union that represents screenwriters for movie and television under major studios, voted to go on strike after negotiations with the major studios under the umbrella of AMPTP had obviously come to a standstill. Writers were asking for things like increasing salaries to keep up with inflation since the last round of negotiation, altering deals for residuals to reflect the streaming services, protections against understaffing in the writer's room, and protections against artificial intelligence. In mid-July, they were joined by SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. They're on strike for a lot of the same reasons, but some of the actor-specific ones include AMPTP's refusal to pay dancers equal pay for rehearsal days and performance days, even though rehearsal days are just as, if not more, grueling and are when injuries are most likely to occur. Requesting that actors who have to do their own hair and makeup on set are compensated for that labor. And of course the concept of putting extras in an AI database and the studios owning the license to your image forever and you are paid once. That was pretty prominently featured in the news at the time. Here's the thing. What WGA and SAG-AFTRA are asking for is perfectly reasonable. Writers and actors deserve to work and not fear being replaced by a computer. And they deserve to be paid fairly and with a certain degree of consistency. Because while it's easy to think of Hollywood and think of all of the A-listers and the people we all know, most of Hollywood is not made up of those people. And if even beloved, well-known creators are getting screwed over with residual checks that are pennies or even sometimes negative money, that's real by the way, then how on earth are the people who make this happen that we never hear of and probably will never hear of supposed to continue living and working in places like New York and LA? What honestly might be the worst part of this is that the major studios could totally acquiesce. We know this because A24, which is a relatively minor studio, has agreed to all of the union's demands and have been given the green light to continue working on projects. But instead of coming to the table, AMPTP has decided to continue to lose money and continue to generate bad press by refusing to work with the unions at all. Many of these executives have decided that the best solution is instead to wait until people are losing their homes and their health insurance and have no choice but to agree to whatever the studios deem to offer them. This isn't the banality of evil for the sake of generating profits. This is cruelty for the sake of cruelty. And it's also just stupid. Everyone deserves to work in fair conditions with a livable wage. Everyone. And that includes creatives. There's a lot of myths that persist about the merits of the broke, starving artist and the idea of how much money and glamour is attached to these jobs. And it's really just a way to poison the water so that we're more willing to see people get mistreated. So I encourage anybody who is watching this who hasn't already to look into what writers and actors are talking about as they're talking about why they're striking. Adam Conover has been covering the WGA strike since the beginning in his usual thorough and snarky way. And I've seen a lot of people posting about this and discussing this and posting what residual checks look like, so I encourage you to look some of those up. You'd be surprised to see how low some of them really are. I remember seeing Neil Gaiman's and I was just floored by how low some of the numbers I was seeing were. Now, my theme for this year's VEDS is storytelling, and inevitably I am going to end up talking about something that the unions were involved in the making of. And while participating in fandom is not considered scabbing, I don't want to be giving these studios free advertisement. So every time I reference a work that was created with WGA and SAG-AFTRA labor, I'm going to post in the description a link to the Entertainers Community Fund. They are a 501c3 organization that helps keep writers, actors, and crew members afloat while they aren't getting paid. If you're able to, donating to them will help these artists stand strong against the studio's pressure. Alright, my friends and fellow VEDSies, I'll see you tomorrow.